Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day as always. Shout out to the 19 folks. The other day I did a video on some of the comments Caitlin Clark made in her interview on the New Heights podcast. One of the comments asked me to touch on Caitlin's thoughts regarding why NBA ratings are down. Now, that's actually something I touched on in another video briefly, just sort of comparing it to the WNBA. And it's something I did want to talk about anyway, just separate. I actually have another video. I don't think I've put it up yet on Magic Johnson talking about one of the reasons he feels NBA ratings are down. So when that's up, please be sure and check that out. So I thought, okay, well, we'll use Caitlin as a starting point here, what she has to say. I'll discuss her comments and why I think NBA ratings are down this season as well. So let's dig in.
As this, what are your suspicions potentially as to why the NBA ratings would be down?
Honestly, like I feel like the average just like basketball fan doesn't understand how good NBA players are and they think it looks like they're not trying. I promise you they're trying. They're just like so good. Like that's why it looks like they're not trying. And obviously the physicality of the league has changed a lot and I wasn't around when it was like much more physical and maybe people want more like beef and physicality and people think it's gotten soft, but I think that's also because the skill has just changed and like that's what's great about basketball. Like it's always evolving. Like it's going to be different than when MJ played. It's going to be different in 10 years than it is now. So it's hard for me to like put my finger on like why it has gone down. And also it's
Right.
competing against a lot of football right now. You have to take that into consideration. Like football is just, that's America's favorite thing. I think people should like, I mean, I love 3 point.
All right, before she gets into the 3 point aspect of it, I want to address some of that because here's where I'm going to lose half of my subscribers, but I completely disagree here, right? And I'm going to say why. Now, that being said, I get it. I think this is an answer everyone would expect from Caitlin Clark. She loves basketball. She's currently a professional basketball player. The only people, it seems, who gave her any love at all during her rookie season in the WNBA has been NBA players, and they are her peers. So it's kind of a loaded question for Jason. She's not from Jason. She's not going to throw NBA players under the bus. However, I don't think players look like they're not trying because they're skillful. Caitlin Clark is the most skillful player in the WNBA. I don't think anyone watches her and thinks, oh, she's not trying. A lot of the lack of effort that people see is on the defensive side. There's no defense in the NBA anymore. And yeah, there's a little bit of not trying on the offensive end because they're basically just chucking up threes, which she's going to get into in a bit. Then this idea that the skill level is so much better than it used to be is simply untrue. I think it was things don't always evolve forward. Okay. You have ups and downs generationally, whether it's talent in, Hollywood and movie making or music, it's not always getting better. And if you go back and look at some video of the 80s and 90s, early 2000s, to say those players are less skilled than today's players is simply untrue. Now, you may not see this part in the video because they don't always allow me to do this stuff, but hopefully it can. So this is actually Penny Hardaway, and this is in college. Okay, just a brief clip of Penny Hardaway in college. If you don't know who Penny Hardaway is, I think he would have gone down as one of the greatest players to ever play the game if his career had not been derailed by injury, which unfortunately it was. So this now again, this is in college, folks. So don't tell me when we look at this, don't tell me that the skill is greater now than it used to be. I love that little thing, but I mean it's just simply untrue. And this is you watch this, it's more entertaining. And I could show you clip after clip. We could go back to, Larry Bird. I could show you Jason Williams, little white point guard for the Sacramento Kings that was just absolutely every pass he made was a highlight real pass. It was absolutely ridiculous. But we've got to get away from this idea that, oh, the players, we don't see this stuff at all today, because again, they're chucking up threes. I mean, there's no one ever even in the paint. But anyway, I won't go through this whole thing. Well, we only got about 10 seconds left. But as you can see, Penny Hardaway was a pretty skilled player while he was still in college. So yeah, so let's go back to this idea, because I want to address this as well, and I want to show you another clip in the NBA that, again, hopefully I can actually show you.
Shooting. I love seeing guys just like launch threes, but not everybody loves that. So I don't know.
What do you think about a 4-point line?
I love that. Let's do it.
That's
That's a
actually
great idea.
genius. That is
go.
Adam Silver,
genius.
4-point line.
How does the criminal justice major come up with the best marketing plan right here?
Sometimes you just got to open your eyes, Jason. Look at the sheet of paper in front of you.
Or we could get like just 2 spots.
Yeah.
What about your
All right. Travis is going to go off the rails and talk about fighting and hockey penalty minutes and stuff like that. So we'll skip that. But 3-point thing for a minute here. I absolutely hate the idea of a 4-pointer. That being said, how about move the 3-point line back? Let's move it back. Okay, get rid of it on the sideline, because you can't really move it back on the sideline, but it's already closer on the side. So just get rid of it. Have the 3-point line end on the sideline, so you can't shoot those corner threes, because we're going to move the line back. And here's why. If you look at this from when the 3-point line came into the game back in, I think, 79, 80, you can see where we're going here. And it's going to keep going up, because I've seen plenty of games now. As you can see, it started, and I could show you I don't know if I can get on the numbers here, but I could go and show you the numbers real quick just to give you an idea. I don't know if you can read this, but yeah, I mean, back when it started, you're talking about 2.8, 2, 2.3, 2.3, 2.4, 3.1, 3.3. It took 15 years before you had a team averaging league wide. I mean, you had individual teams, but league wide teams averaging more than 10 3-pointers a game. And now teams are shooting 40, 50, 60 per game. Now, the average currently, it says, is like 37.6, but I think it's actually gone up even more than that. But you can see where it's going. And by the way, this little jump here in like the mid 90s, they had actually moved it a little closer. So they were chucking up more. So you have generation now grew up basically doing nothing but chucking up threes. So let's move the line back and make it more about the rest of the game. There's nothing besides threes and maybe dunks nowadays. And it is incredibly boring to watch. There's especially when there's no defense. Guys just stand around and chuck up threes, and nobody really challenges them. You make a couple of passes, guys drive into the lane so they can kick out the threes with no intention of actually trying to score. And there's one other thing in this I wanted to show you too. I mean, look at this. Those common jump shot locations. This is cool. Michael Jordan from 96 to 98 on the left. James Harden from 2018 to 2020. Now, honestly, and when you think of the type of shots Jordan takes, what seems to be more entertaining? Yeah, it's absolutely watching Jordan. Would you rather watch the Penny Hardaway I just showed, or again, fingers crossed that I can show this. I may not show the whole thing, because you'll get the idea. But I've seen videos like this, multiple videos like this, where it's literally a minute or so long, and both teams just chucking up threes and missing. But look how easy it is for these guys to be open, because again, there's barely any defense. Are you seeing a lot of effort to get these shots? Are you seeing a lot of skill in the game? Let me dribble to the lane just so I can kick out to the 3-pointer, and then I'll kick out to the 3-pointer, and then I'm going to miss the shot. The other team's going to get the rebound because nobody even crashed the offensive boards. They all ran back. It looks like it's in slow motion. That's sort of a half pick, but the guy makes no effort to actually get around it and contest the shot. Now we're going to go down the other end. That's 3 in a row. I haven't seen any skill. I haven't seen a pick and roll. I haven't seen any attempt to try and get to the lane and be skillful in beating a defender to get to the bucket. It's just basic sloppy dribbling. That was a very slow move to the basket, so I can chuck it all the way out 30 feet back to the 3-point line, and then he can miss. And it just continues like this. And again, not going to drive to try and score. No, let me just dribble in there and then kick it out to the trailer. I'm not going to take a 15-footer. I'll kick it out to that guy, and then he'll miss. And is that entertaining? I don't think that's entertaining. Is that skillful? Would you rather watch the Penny Hardaway stuff or would you rather watch this? So I'm thinking I want to watch this. But we're gonna think we got another little bit of a clip I want to play.
Yeah.
Is it potentially because they're playing too many games?
I think that's for sure probably something like 82 games on like somebody's body. Like
That's so many.
it's insane. Like they're not practicing a lot. Like it's just hard.
If it's to the point that your star players are having to take time off, why don't we just play less games?
I know.
So the star players don't have to take time off? Because I don't know. I feel like the NBA and Major League Baseball grew up in times where ticket sales were what was your main source of revenue, and now it's all driven by ad dollars from TV contracts.
That was basically the end of it anyway. But again, no. First of all, Jason, they don't have time off. Load management is a very new recent thing from a bunch of lazy entitled players who make 30, 40, 50 million a year that they know some team in the league is going to pay them that even if they only play 50 or 60 games. So load management again, new, correct? Michael Jordan played 82 games when he was 40. Let me tell you something. 82 games has been the schedule since the late 60s. Yes, that is right. It has been about 55, 56 years now that they've been playing 82 games and they just started load management. Yeah, there are some more playoff games, but obviously not every team does that. Half the teams don't even make the playoffs. Then half of that half don't get past the first round. So, no, it is not a game increase. That is simply untrue. And in addition, travel is way better for these guys now. They're pampered so much more. Better nutrition, better exercise programs, better recovery. So the idea of load management is not about too many games. It's about being soft, being overpaid, and being entitled. I mean, you saw that clip. Hopefully, you saw that clip, and I didn't have to take it out. But if you didn't, it was a minute 15 of two teams going back and forth, chucking up threes with no defense and no made baskets. It's a practice session of wide open threes. Probably not as intense as guys like Kobe used to practice. So no, it's not. They aren't forced into load management. That's a softness and an entitlement issue. And I'll get to that again. Let me see if I can find the right clip. Yeah. Yeah, I had a Larry Bird clip for skill too, but I don't want you folks. One of these guys, they want to be the face of the league. He's frustrated because teams are double teaming. That's not how I want to play. I'm only 23. I don't want to just be passing the ball all night. Are you kidding me with this? Again, softness, entitlement. Can you imagine Wilt, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Kobe, Allen Iverson? Can you Barkley, Shaq? Can you imagine these guys whining and complaining because they're getting double teamed? Caitlin Clark herself, right? Caitlin Clark herself. We all know how she was guarded. Did she ever complain about it? No. Again, that is soft, folks. I don't care what you say. I don't care how good you think the man is. It doesn't get much softer than that. Who wants to watch the guy with that attitude and the money he makes? Or hey, we could listen to Jimmy Butler, who I think is making $48.8 million a season. But guess what?
And I don't shoot the ball a lot, but we won't sit here and say that I don't play hard.
What will fix it? What do you want to see happen to fix it?
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, you know, off the court. But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
I mean, are you kidding me? First of all, a lot of people work jobs they don't like. The man, you're bouncing a ball for almost $50 million a year. You're not, because a lot of people are saying he's not trying. There can't be any effort, and you need to get a trade because you don't have your joy. Really, these players are not soft. Is that what we're saying? Are we are we saying they're not soft? Like this isn't about role. It's only about money. He wants 50 million to play 50 or 60 games, sleepwalk through the regular season, and then try to turn it on for the playoffs. He doesn't want to be held accountable to the same standard as everyone else. And it's sad, but that's a lot of it. So why are ratings down? The game isn't fun to it's not it goes back to what we said with the WNBA at times before Caitlin Clark. Most NBA games are just they're boring now because that clip I showed you that fingers crossed you got to see, there was over 100 threes shot in that game. Right? The majority of the shots were three-pointers. They were not contested. They were just because there's no real defense. They just go up and down the court and chuck up threes, and they miss most of them. That's not fun to watch. When three-pointers are part of the game, yes. When there is something else to the game, when there's a mid-range game, when there's players driving to the basket, it's fun. When you've got soft players who are soft, who don't try, and who just chuck up threes, and they're making 30, $40 million a year, that's not watchable basketball. The NBA was much more watchable 15 years ago, 25 years ago. It was much more entertaining, and they need to get back to actual basketball, and I think one way to do that in terms of any changes on the court is to move back to three. I think there has to be a little more physicality, but again, within the rules. That's part of it too. To be fair, it's also on the league and the referees. Like I saw Russell Westbrook actually drive to the basket and make a dunk and literally just glanced at the defender and then ran down the court and he got a technical foul for it, which is absolutely insane. So it's a whole culture of that, to be fair. It's not just the players, but I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, I'm sorry, Caitlin. Like I said, she's not going to sit there and be negative toward the players, which I get. And obviously, it's not all the players, but it's too many. It's just too many, and they need to fix how the game is played and the approach to the game. But let me know your thoughts on the NBA. And by the way, it's an opportunity for the WNBA. It really is. If they can fix some of the issues with their product on the court, you've got more players that are more like Caitlin in terms of being entertaining to watch coming out of college soon, and then younger players. I mean, the WNBA could be much, much different 10 years from now, much different in a good way. But we'll see. They like to sabotage themselves, so who knows? But I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, I do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and I will talk to you later.